That could have went a lot smoother. I'm a man in black today because it's Halloween, and this is maybe the most effort I've put into a costume in a very long time. Even though I owned most of it already, so I really just had to go out and buy this coat and some shoes, which you can't see. So it wasn't a lot of effort at all. Anyway, is that your architect suit? Oh my God. Yeah, that's funny. That's actually what I am for Halloween, as an architect. Wouldn't that be amazing? Okay, these sunglasses are incredibly dark. And I didn't even open up the production feedback stream project, but I did download the tracks. So at least we got that. Hello, happy Halloween, everybody. Normally I don't like Halloween because it just seems like a lot of stress to try and figure out a costume. But my friend Courtney came up with the idea for her, and my friend Jay Gray and myself were all going as the Men in Black. Courtney just asked me to send her a mugshot of me. So I'm assuming she's printing some sort of badge of some sort. And besides that, this is what you get. It's me with sunglasses on and a shirt and tie, which is not common for me. Anyway, cool. Let's listen to some music. I don't know if that worked very well. I tried to like fade out the waiting music and then hit the Men in Black song while I showed up on stream, but I didn't have my sunglasses on, so I kind of fucked it up anyway. And my mic was muted. But that's pretty typical, I think. Actually, you know what? Just one sec. There. If I didn't go back and turn the waiting music back up, I feel like I would have forgot, and then next Friday I would have played it without any sort of music. So I just had to fix that. All right, let's delete these last week tracks and have a listen to what you guys have done this week instead. Here come the Men in Black. It's a good song, like kind of unironically. Okay, you guys know that the commands don't work in FL Studio, so I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, okay, cool. Let's, I don't know what this is gonna, yeah, there we go. Why is this set to track? I don't, track mode, unassigned. There we go. Colorful, reset. There, okay. Let's have a listen. Let's make sure I don't have anything in the master bus. I think that's a good way to start. Ooh. Look at that. It did have some stuff in it too. Dirty. I just reset all this stuff and things. Stuff and things is a funny saying. Okay, I think we're good now. All right. Man, I was first, but I deleted my track. But I actually deleted your track. You didn't delete it. But the order in which you submit them isn't the order in which FL Studio opens them. I don't know what the order, I don't know how it determines that, but if you got to go or something, then just let me know and I can bump you up. But we're going to start with this one. I just deleted your track because I didn't want to confuse myself. Okay, let's listen to In the Club.
See my click in the club. See my click in the
So the first thing that popped into my head was that you should probably, I don't know if In the Club is a good name. To me, that just makes me think of like 2008 Usher or something. I think the track's sick, and I mean, like, whatever what I think, but I think that, like, I think the name could be better because my expectations were not very high. Um, Kappa, I tagged you in my story. Oh, great. Anyway, I don't know. To me, I'm just like, meh. I'm like, well, are we popping bottles in the club, But the track is dope. I do agree. Somebody said the kick is a bit weird, and I think I agree. Yeah, it kind of sounds like it's very well represented in the top end, and it probably has like a significant amount of like bottom end, but all I'm really hearing is kind of like the transient, Thank you. I'm supposed to be a man in black, but I realize I'm probably just looking like some sort of idiot that thinks he looks cool if he wears a shirt and tie or whatever that podcast. What's that podcast guy's name that, like, I don't know, he turned out to be like a fraud or something. Anyway, I would maybe just try some different trap style kicks. I don't think the kick is horrible, but I think you can do better. And everything else in the track's pretty sick. I really like the it's kind of like it's like Pac-Man blowing bubbles digitally. That's what it sounds like to me.
See my click in the
You look like a sexy Justin Timberlake. Thanks, Will. I appreciate that. Although I feel like those two words are the sexy and Justin Timberlake seem a little redundant to me, but no, I'm not bringing sexy back. I'm pushing sexy back, like, away from me. I think the idea of the track is sick. But right now, it's kind of like, it's an idea. It has all kinds of cool little ear candy. So I guess my suggestion is just to maybe try a different kick. Try a different kick, go from there, keep writing it, and lean into the, like, you kind of use this in the drop somewhere. There was one spot, I think, where you used the Pac-Man blowing bubbles sound in the drop, but it kind of felt subdued. I'd almost like drop everything else out and have a little moment where it's going wacka, 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 and then back into it, That would probably be cool. I think you have a lot of great elements, and now it's time to turn it into a song. And maybe just like, I don't mind the line in the track where Buddy says, club. I don't mind it in the song, but just for the title, I don't know. It goes weeble wobble, weeby wobble, weeby, because the release on the patch is too high and the LFO is triggering again. I didn't really necessarily find that as a problem or not. I honestly feel like these sunglasses are hampering my ability to hear things. How does that make sense? Yeah, you can throw submission in on the Discord.
I click in the club.
In the fake out here? Okay, let me see.
See my click.
Do you mean at the very last, when it ends, it goes wow instead of just wow? Is that what you mean? Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you could tidy it up. I don't necessarily think it sounds bad, but maybe tidy it up. Maybe see if it I think what he's referring to is right here, that the LFO gets re-triggered when you let off the key, which is, I understand what you're saying. Maybe it'd be better if it didn't have that. Maybe it'd be better if it just ended tidily. This time different sorting, or is it still random like last time? It's always random. I just drag all the songs into FL and it picks it somehow. I have no idea. It's very picky. Yeah, no, I understand. I get it. It's like if you have a drum loop and you cut the drum loop a little too long and you hear you just hear the start of the transient of like the next hi-hat hit or something. I get it. But when I heard it the first time, it didn't come across as unintentional. So I think it could go either way. Anyway, I think it's a sick track, dude. It sounds kind of early on in its development just because like the arrangement isn't fleshed out at all, but I don't know. Just play around with some different kicks. That's my only real feedback. Okay, next up, and we'll go grab the other submissions. Rayhem submitted something? Oh my goodness. Wrong reasons, Rayhem. A V6? Should have had a V8. Okay, this one's called Fire Inside by Freeze. Is that, am I about to get rickrolled?
She's got the whole room burning tonight. Not a care in the world, baby, it's alright. All that matters is that fire inside. She's got the whole room burning tonight.
I feel like this is another one of those situations where the vocals are in a relative key to the actual song. The vocals sound correct most of the time, but the way that they resolve and the way that they land, it doesn't sound like it's landing on the root note. It sounds like it's landing not on the root note. So I don't know. 90% of the vocals that I've heard so far sound proper, but when it does that little run and it lands on like the wrong note, it makes me feel like the vocals just aren't in the correct key.
Got the whole room burning tonight. You're in the trance, just watching her shine. Not a care in.
Yeah, they almost sound, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like this is a harmony of the main vocal melody. It sounds like we're hearing the harmony of the actual melody as opposed to just the melody. This is the one from last week we argued over. Yeah. I don't know what my feedback was last week. I do kind of remember now that we're talking about it. But yeah, the vocals just don't feel quite right.
All that matters is that fire inside.
I really like the drums. I like the groove. The bass line's cool. I think that when we're out of the drop, like right here, it's too quiet. Like, especially right here. Those drums sound like they are not there. So I mean, like, you don't need everything to be full, absolute maximum volume the entire time, but to me, it just feels weak. And then when the groove comes in, I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty bumping. But there's a big difference in volume between. And so just, yeah, I would probably work on that. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely have some dynamics in there. I just think there's too much right now. See, like, that vocal line, everything up until nah, it sounded good.
She's got the whole room burning tonight.
Tonight. It's supposed to da-da, but it goes da-da. So, yeah, the vocals just don't feel right to me.
Not a care in the
See, like the fire inside part, it works, but that's what I mean. It's almost working by accident, and then other parts aren't working by accident. So overall, what I would say is you got to figure out how to make these vocals sit better with the key of the song. Dun 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 dun. You could melodyne it, or you could maybe just shift your bass line around to suit whatever the key of the song is. Because like dun dun, what is that? I'm not gonna add something new. I've got so many. One sec. Does this even work? Yeah, it does. Wow, cool. Okay, so the song, the track is in probably F minor. Yeah, it's in F minor. And now what's the song in? Sorry, F sharp minor is what I meant to say. And what's the vocal in? He's got the whole room burning tonight. To me, it sounds like the vocal is in maybe A minor. Or he's got the whole room burning tonight. Or maybe C sharp. He's got the whole room burning tonight. I don't know. The vocal is in B minor. Are we sure about that? He's got the whole room burning tonight. It's so hard for me to decipher it because I'm trying to like listen to the track and the vocal separately. But at the end of the day, the feedback is the same. The vocals work most of the time, but when they don't work for that last little 10% of the little runs that he does and the way that he does like resolves the melody, it just doesn't feel correct with the key of the song. So there's many ways of fixing this. The groove is dope. The only other technical feedback I give you is that all of your non-drop sections are too quiet. Of course, you don't want the non-drop sections to be as bumping as the drop, but there's just too big of a gap, especially like as we're building up. It doesn't really it builds up sonically, but like amplitudinally. You know, like oops. So where's my snipping tool? Snipping tool. There you are. Yeah, you would kind of expect, oh my God, I can't see. You kind of expect like that, right? Instead of just like, it's just kind of sonically building up, but it's not amplitudinally building up. I may have cranked the gain knob too far down. On what? Do you have like a bus with like your build-up elements or something? I don't know. I think the biggest problem right now is just those vocals, because they're kind of like, it's kind of like an existential problem for the track. The mixing and stuff, that's, you know, somewhat subjective. I do think that it would benefit from the non-drop parts being louder, but you could kind of hit the master a little harder, might take a little bit of that out of it. The vocal thing is kind of objectively like an issue that you should probably address. But the groove is dope. So you're on the right track. The track is dope. You're on the right track. That tracks. Okay. Thank you for sending. Let's check out Liwan Till You're Here, and I'll go grab the other tracks. Here we go.
Rain, shine, weathered through the pain, a hopeless trek into the sweet release of nothing. The will of the people deign to care, have decided to make them known. Their words just solve the problem. Solemn, they blossom into cheer. They blossom.
Am I hearing like a buffer sound? Cha 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 cha.
Into cheer.
Okay, this is interesting. I like it. I think the intro, it drags on a bit. And that's not to say that the length is the issue, you know. It's just that I think you need to develop it more as it's getting closer to like when the drums come in to keep our anticipation steeped so that we're not just kind of like waiting, you know. um the chord progression is not typical. That's not necessarily a problem, but I do find the chords maybe a little more complicated than they need to be, because I'm kind of like, where are we going next? What's the next chord? I like to be able to, you know, have feel like I have an idea of where it's going most of the time. And it's okay to be surprised now and then, but I find it hard to recreate this chord progression in my head after listening to it. Again, that could be a subjective thing, so take it with a grain of salt, but that is how I'm feeling. I have a good reference though. Here Come the Men. That's what I searched. So if you don't already listen to Goldfrapp, you probably should. And if we go to like maybe Happiness, there's one album that's like, it's called something tree, Seventh Tree. Yeah. This is an excellent reference for you, I think. So you know what I mean? It's kind of, I think this whole album is probably in the same vein as like your style of music. So it could be a good place to get some inspiration. Anyway, I love that album. I used to listen to the shit out of it back in like 2010. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like the instrumentation. I like a lot of what the music is doing, but I'm struggling to follow and have a bit of a prediction as to what the next chord is going to be, and that makes it hard for me to get into it. Nick looks like an FBI agent who has been assigned to determine the quality of McDonald's cookies. I would be very qualified for that job. They are excellent, 10 out of 10. What's my next assignment? That's sick. Hi, did you download updated version? What? Of what? Did you send what? Oh, here's the correct one. Did you delete the other one? Because I think I only downloaded one of yours. Anyway, we'll find out when we listen to it. Yeah, I really like this ending part, but I think that if you could figure out a way to have some of your not so typical chord changes and melody choices and stuff, but still anchor it in a little bit of typicalness, you know, instead of just being way out there in terms of the chord changes. Maybe it follows it's based on a normal key, chord progression, but you switch it up a little bit now and then. I just think I think the vocal melody and stuff would all work if like, you don't need to have crazy chords for the vocal melody to work. So I don't know. I think it's worth experimenting with, unless you love. It's just kind of like frolicking through a field and taking turns and directions that I'm unable to predict, and that kind of kicks me out a little bit. So, you know, do with that information what you will. I think that it sounds great. I think that you should listen to some Goldfrapp and get some inspiration, because her and her producer, I don't remember her producer's name, but they're like a duo, and they are heavily influenced by like 70s music, but it's still quite modern sounding, and has some interesting chord changes and stuff without straying too far. But that's my main feedback. I think that it's a lovely piece that you've created. I would prefer if I knew what chord was coming. Okay, that's it. And now we're gonna get a whiplash, apparently, allegedly. Let me go grab those other songs. EDM to pop punk pipeline is very real and terrifying. Okay. I don't fully really know what that means, but oh, that's good. Surprise them, don't confuse them. I like that. That's a good thing to say. Okay. Let's check out Nate Floof, Boulevard of Broken Dreams cover. Instruments are VST's Fuck My Life. Okay.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's on to me, and I walk alone. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one, and I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk up. My shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then I walk alone.
Honestly, is this you singing? Did you sing this? The first thing I would say is I would probably cut the intro thing in half, because it's just kind of like.
I walk alone.
Yeah, I would just have that little, it's almost just like a little statement. Here's the sound. You're going to hear it again probably. And then into the track. I'd get into the track quicker. I think you did a great job singing. When it gets to the chorus.
My shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shadow.
Yeah, the crash, I mean, the drums in general don't sound amazing. I think that you can do better on the drum side, like superior drummer or something. The crash cymbal sounds like almost like the same. Guess what drums they are? I don't know. So it's that the vocals are the same. Yeah, the vocals are really like, they sound great. I think the drums and the bass. So the bass is kind of playing up high, and maybe that's what happens in the actual song. But I just feel like when we get to the chorus, we lose all the bottom end, because the kick drum, it's just kind of like dum dum cha, dum dum cha. Like, it's just like too chill. And then the bass guitar is playing like an octave up. So there's really not much going on in the sub range. And let's see.
I walk alone, I walk up. My shadow.
Yeah, I don't know what notes those are, and if you can put them down an octave. Yeah, it's fine if the original does it, but the original probably has some other things going for it that your cover doesn't. So if you're gonna do a cover, why not? I don't know. I don't know what to say besides I think it would be better if you maintain some form of sub range. But again, like these drums, they sound to me like the drums that would come out of like an electric drum kit from the early 2000s. Like they're okay. They sound like drums, but they don't sound like good drums. They just sound like, yep, drums, check.
I'm walking down the line that divides me somewhere in my mind, on the borderline of the edge and where I walk alone.
Honestly, all the guitar stuff sounds pretty good for being VSTs, like I gotta say.
My vital sign to know I'm still alive and I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk up. My shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then I walk alone.
Yeah, the crash cymbal is. I think that the song would sound better with no drums, to be honest. And I don't mean for that to come across as harsh, but the drums are not doing it any favors in the chorus. And there's also this, concerning MP3 line, which I'm not aware of why that's happening. That's a weird way of saying that. Let's see. Is it just a small MP3 or is there dirty dirties? Oh, it's 256 kilobit per second. At least it's not like, man, we've seen some weird numbers. Like last time it was like 187.5 kilobits per second or some shit like that. But yeah, the crash cymbal isn't really extending up into the bright kind of frequency range. It's kind of stopping at like the high mids, and it's just it's just not doing it. I think like the performance side of it and the the actual pattern and all the instrumentation and everything, the performance side of it sounds good. But if you could get your Superior Drummer installation to work, that would probably be a good move. Because Superior Drummer is pretty good. It's pretty good for convincing. Obviously it's one of those garbage in, garbage out situations. If you give it crappy performance, then it's gonna sound crappy, or if you mix it in a weird way, then it's gonna, it's not gonna sound great. But it would definitely be a better place to start than whatever these drums are. You said labs, I think. Could you maybe like process them into something that sounds better? Maybe if it went through some bus compression and you nailed it a bit harder, but like those cymbals they just aren't selling me.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one, and
You didn't like use some AI tool to make your voice sing this, right?
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the
Because there's a couple spots.
street on the
Oh, maybe it's the comping. Maybe the way that you comped it. There's a few little spots
street on the
right there.
empty street on the
There's like this unnatural pause or like it sounds like a noise gate or something that's being too intrusive. I didn't hear it until this like kind of intimate moment because there was so much other stuff happening. But right there, I can hear like an edit, or I can hear like a noise gate or something, like cutting off the start of a word. I don't know. There's something kind of strange going on with the processing there.
He sleeps and I'm the only one.
Right there too.
He sleeps and I'm the
Like you can hear the volume duck down and then come back up. There's a heavy noise gate. Okay, well that's probably it then.
only one, and I welcome my shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's the.
What if, and just bear with me, what if you recorded it in a place that didn't have noise to begin with? What if you recorded it without noise, and then you wouldn't have to use a noise gate or anything to deal with noise because there wouldn't be noise? Raham, I downloaded it and I saw that it was like 347 kilobytes. So like, I get the joke, but I'll go with it. What if I moved into a studio to record with no noise? Yeah, no, I know, but don't give me that shit. Go in your fucking closet and put some blankets around you. Don't give me that. Don't tell me you can't record with noise. Because you can. You got to get creative. And yes, you don't have a closet? Well, then just put. I did a voiceover for a video I'm working on for my tuning products, and I was just at my desk and I took my big heavy like comforter and put it over my head, and then I talked and it sounds fine. So like, don't give me that shit. You can do it. You can do it. You can be creative. I think you go back in the closet. Yeah, okay, that's not what I did. But if you want to try to cancel me, I mean, like, I'm not really a public figure anymore, so go for it. Okay, that's what I think. I think you did a great job with the vocals. I mean, most of the time, the noise floor doesn't bother me because I didn't notice it because you're like belting and there's lots of noise in the track anyway, so you can't really tell. But when it comes to that section right there, I can hear the processing doing the processing. So, I don't know about that, Raham. Let's not test that theory. Okay, that's what I think. Good job. I don't know if I've ever heard you sing, but I know it's heavily like auto-tuned, but that it sounded like your voice is good. So even if the pitch wasn't great prior to the auto-tune, I think that you have a good voice. Okay, let's listen to what I can only assume is a fucking banger. Let's have a listen. This one's called Step Off. Yeah, this is sick, but that snare needs to be better. It needs to cut through the mix. I like the sound of it, but I think you should layer a punchy snare with it. So we get the kick and the snare creating these landmarks in the song to follow rhythmically. I think that's pretty much my only feedback. I think it's a dope start to a track, but I sidechain and soft clip. I don't think that's gonna do it. I think this snare is like a box. It's just like it doesn't have a snap. It doesn't have a transient. It's just like noise. So that's cool. It sounds dirty and dingy and dank and dangerous. But I think that if you layered in a thunk or something that like snaps and designates the start of the snare hit along with that snare to create the texture of it, then I think it would just be best of both worlds. I don't think you would be compromising anything. I just think that it's a stretched clap with a disperser. I don't know what a disperser is, but yeah, it sounds sick. It's just not delivering the function of a snare, which is to kind of designate the 2 and the 4 or whatever the, you know, I just think if you layered a snappy snare with it, boom, done. Yeah. I think that's all I got, dude. It's a sick beat and it's super dark and evil and it sounds great, but just like layer a snappy snare and then keep going and make it into a full song. Don't spend all your time on this 45 seconds of audio. Keep it going, structure out some form of structure, whether you have to just like load in a track that you like and somewhat copy the arrangement to get you fleshed out, because otherwise you'll just spend your entire life working on 45-second really awesome sounding drops and not have any song to show for it. So fix the snare and then don't fuck around with this anymore. Figure out the arrangement of the song. Keep going. All right, next up, val code 150 beats per minute, ID 8, almost.
You said you don't need change, it never crossed your mind that it could make me cry. Oh, what a shame. You could be the one, could be the one. It's what you do on purpose that makes me fall right back under the covers. I feel like I'm the clown and you're the circus. I don't know why you get me high, you get me
Yeah, it was dope. I think the only thing that I really got for you in terms of feedback, I think I have two things. The main thing is the snare just could have a layer of air on it. Wow, the snare could have a layer of air. I think that's fair. The I like the sound of the snare, but it just sounds a little dull. It sounds like it's sitting in the mix a little bit too much. And if it just had a bit more of a psh sound to it, you could maybe just EQ, like high shelf up some high frequency back into the snare, because it's just not quite bright enough. It almost just fades in with the rest of the track a little bit more, or a little bit too much. The only other thing is when it got to this, that kind of pluck sound, I think it could just come up a little bit. I know that you're trying to kind of like sneak it in, but you don't have to go full spectrum right down into the sub range or anything like that. But I think having it just a bit, maybe like 4 or 5 decibels louder in the mix would just allow us to kind of like get our head nodding a little sooner, because it's really cool. It's a cool sounding pluck, but it's just like a little too subdued. Besides that, it's dope. It's a cool song. I was rocking out the whole time, and if the snare was a little brighter, then I might have just rocked out just a little tiny bit harder. Easy. All right. Thank you for sending. Next up, we got Verbatim Bro Jazz Step. Wow. All right.
Rolling in the palace, but you're too tame. I ain't for the south, but I appreciate the wood grain. Never calling me about the north, it's only 2. Man, I'm in the same building, but the flows and beat change. I ain't for the waiting now. I bought a Rari and I did it just to hit a sound. God say, really about to lose all its meaning now. Guess you love to travel when I pull up and you leaving town. Say you're married to the game and I'm just the gown. I got a flight in the morning, I see what you've been trying to do when I'm a mission to border. You think I never pay attention? In my mind I'm recording. I'm about to win and ruin all your goals and dreams out of boredom. Riding and walking homies like we run the city. Looking fresh and feeling like a millie. Looking sunny so you can never hit me. If you gotta follow me to see me.
Okay, the vocal's getting lost as this buildup happens. I didn't find the vocal was too quiet here.
Rolling in the palace, but you're too tame.
Well, maybe it is a little quiet. Maybe you could bring the vocal up there, but when we're building up, the vocal just kind of disappears into the mix.
Looking sunny so you can never hit me. If you gotta follow me to see me. Looking sunny so you can never hit me. If you gotta follow me to see me.
Bang, time to show you what we came to do. Boss, only talking, making major moves. Rolls Royce, no top. Me, no one will ever stop. Me against the world, I got my back against the wall. No, I'm hellbound, but I'm well now. On the road with riches, I can never lay around. So don't make a sound unless you make it loud.
I mean, I think it's a cool track. Oh, I have channel link on. My bad. Oh my God, I've done so many terrible things in my life, and this is one of them. I think you're gonna have a hard time mastering this with such strong transients. So what I'd probably do is take your kick and your snare, which I believe is what these transients are, and I'd send them. This is kind of dirty, but this is what I would do. I'd send them to a bus. I'm gonna undo all this shit before I forget. So take your kick and take your snare, send them to a bus, and then just wave shape them. Do you use FL Studio? I can't remember what you use. Okay, that's back to normal. Because if you did, you can just you could send your kick and snare to a bus, and then you could like literally just go and like take like this wave shaper and just like. So if I just render out a little section like this. Let's do Edison after the wave shaper. Okay. Let me delete. Okay. And we take this. So see, it didn't really affect anything except that transient, right? If you look at like these aren't getting clipped, but the transient's just getting snippety snapped off. And if I listen to it and then compare it to this, oh shit. How can I swear to God, these, you know, like, you know how like when you go to back up your car and you have to turn the sound down on like your radio and it doesn't make any sense. You're like, why do I need to turn the sound down in order to back my car up safely? Makes no sense. But right now, these sunglasses are actually affecting my ability to listen to things, and it makes no fucking sense. I mean, our brains are crazy. Anyway, so if I delete this, yeah. So if we just do this and then we listen to your, like, the way it is with those crazy transients, and then we let it go into my mix. Here we go. Oh shit. I gotta kind of do it the other. Well, whatever. Okay, so here's mine first. It sounds like the same. Like it sounds the same. I've listened to tens of thousands of hours of music critically with my ears and my brain trying to analyze it. And I don't really hear a difference between this and that. But now we just have a much easier time in the master bus because we can just if we brought the limiter rate to the top of this waveform, it would do nothing. But if we brought the limiter down to the same level, those crazy peaks are going to cause the master limiter to do things, and we're going to hear those things, and it's going to restrict how far down we can pull that threshold in the master bus. But if you are empathetic towards your master limiter and you prepare things and you give it the best signal you can, then that master limiter doesn't have to work as hard. So that's why I'm a big fan of you can still have these sharp peaks, but if you send them into a bus or even on a track by track basis and put a wave shaper and just literally fucking oh, wait a sec. Sorry, I guess that wasn't a fair. I still had that on the master bus. One sec. Yeah, I still don't hear the difference. Anyway, yeah, if you throw a wave shaper on and you do a little dirty and you just make sure that like everything up until wherever this point isn't getting affected at all. So you could put this wherever. You could, you know, maybe what you want is a little higher. Because obviously if you bring this down here, you know, that's going to do bad things because now the whole track is going to be distorted. But if you bring this in a way that it only catches those sharp peaks, then sonically those sharp peaks are still there. But on a waveform basis, those sharp peaks are no longer there. That's not really necessarily an accepted way of mixing, and it is possible to go too far and do bad things. But I think in this situation, it would just make your life a little easier when it comes time to trying to make the track loud, because that's kind of what this needs right now. That's why I put the master shit on it, because it was just like, well, it's not essentially hard clipping; it's literally hard clipping, right? But when you think about what a compressor is distortion with a time variable. If you add a compressor and you turned the attack and release to 0, you have a wave shaper. It is literally just this. The only difference with the compressor is it smooths out how it reduces the gain when it hits these like the knee and the threshold. But a compressor with 0 attack and 0 release is literally a wave clipper. It makes the to and then you can make it Hey, that's another great analogy. That's actually really good. Wow, I like that. I'm gonna use that. Copyright Velcode 2025. Anyway, that's what I think. And then I think you gotta finish the song because it's only a minute and a half. So I usually will give the advice that before you spend too much time making all of this sound as good as you can, you should really finish writing the song, because otherwise you'll get into the loop of just producing a 40-second loop and making it sound really good. On the drums, to cut off a bit of the peaks from the drums at the beginning, but I think I forgot about the drums during the drop. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I know I've probably given you that advice before. And again, that's just the way that I see things. Some other more professional, more betterer producer than me may say that's fucking stupid. You should never do that. But when I listen to the beginning, or sorry, not the beginning. When I listen to it clipped and not clipped, I don't really hear a difference, but it's easier to master. So, which car engine I used at the beginning? Let's see. Sounds like an RX-7. It sounds like a 13B to me. But it also could just sound like any car with fucking no exhaust. So, okay, that's what I got. Let's move on. This one's called Who To. Oh, it is an RX-7. Nice. Hydrate, bro. Dude, I am the hydration. I'm 70% water. Okay, this one's called Who To. Wow. Okay, so this is the drum pattern reminds me kind of like mid 2000s club music or something. But I agree that the kick, I think that this might be one of those tracks where the kick in the 808 could, instead of side chaining, you could take the kick and take the 808 and send it into a channel or a bus and then clip it or distort it and let the kick and the 808 fuck with each other when it happens, as opposed to doing the side chaining. Sometimes that's better. And if you're clipping it or wave shaping it, like what I showed on a Verbatim's track, then you're not going to have that problem where the kick and the sub add up to this big wompy thing, you know, when they're both playing at the same time, because the wave shaper is going to distort it down and compress the dynamic range back down. But it becomes a bit more challenging to find a kick and an 808 that work well together in that way. It's easier to do the side chaining thing because that just makes it so that the kick and 808 doesn't interact at all, or at least in theory. But the thing is, you can sometimes get a kick and an 808 that interact together in a way that sounds better than side chaining and ducking the 808 out of the way, if that makes sense. Like, you can just sum them together, distort them together, that glues them together, and yeah, there's going to be weird phase cancellation and stuff when the kick and the 808 are playing at the same time, but if you pick the right kick and the right 808, then that weird shit that's happening will sound good. It's not necessarily a bad thing. This may be a situation where that is a better move rather than side chaining the 808 to the kick. Just let them fuck with each other and pick the right kick or shape the right kick so that the interaction between them is a positive thing. You guys are drinking H2O? I've been drinking H2O2, and I haven't been feeling very good. So I think the strengths in this right now are, I really like the lead. I like the lead a lot. The beat's kind of cool. I don't know. There's something there is an improvement to be made on this beat, and I can't quite wrap my brain around it. Maybe I think it might just be like maybe the drum samples that are used are a bit too just kind of like stock, like almost like, you get FL Studio and it has like some drums in it or like a MIDI. Like I feel like maybe the drum samples that are being used are just a little too, I don't want to use the word basic because I don't think that's the correct word, but it's just, it doesn't have enough character or something, Like they just kind of sound. I don't even know. I don't know. There's something that's just not quite there with the drums at the start. That kind of goes away once we get to this. But I think the biggest issue with this track that I'm having right now is that it sounds like you are experimenting with a bunch of ideas and you haven't come to the conclusion of what this song is yet. It sounds like it's an experimentation, and that's fine in the writing stages, but I would encourage you to try to maybe figure out the structure a little bit better, because it just kind of sounds like ideas, like an idea and then another idea and then another idea, and they're all related. They're not completely unrelated ideas. They're in the same key. They're playing similar, melodies and stuff like that. But yeah, I think. I don't know. It's just like maybe like pick like your main idea and then structure the song around that main idea, and then maybe have more of a typical structure. I think is probably. I think the biggest feedback I have is just try to figure out the arrangement of this song in a strategic way. And whether that's using other tracks in a similar style to use as like a template or to inspire you, but figure out your arrangement, because right now it just kind of sounds like here's a beat, here's a beat, here's a beat, here's a beat. And I think it's cool. I think that the lead is fucking sick. I really like the lead on it. I remember, and it's gone. I tried to read it. Anyway, that's what I got. I think the lead is sick. I think the beat is sick. I think that you need to figure out your structure. All right. 8888888, man. Late Eyes, America Gentrified Dubstep. Okay. By the way, but was this drop version better suited than last time? Yes. I don't specifically remember what the drop sounded like last time, but I do remember not feeling the same way about that. I sent the last submission. It's called Scaffolding Sketch. Did I not get it? I thought I got it. I'll make sure I got it. Okay, so I like this intro, but I think right around this area, it needed a pickup, because I was just kind of like, all right, I'm ready for the next part now. So if the audience is like, we're ready for the next part, it means that you're not giving them enough in the current part, right? So I know that there was a little bit of development, like there was development throughout the whole thing. Things were opening up and stuff like that. But I feel like you might need to bring in like a new rhythmic thing or like some sort of arpeggio thing or something like that. I'd watch 30 ads. Why'd you have to watch 30 ads? Okay, so here's what I have to say about this. That drop is so sick. I would put this in my liked Spotify playlist. The problem is that I would not have ever gotten to the drop. So it would have never made it to my liked playlist because the intro is just kind of like, okay, it's all right, but the drop is so good. So I think that you need to not work on the drop. I think you need to figure out how to get people to the drop. Because there just wasn't, it's just kind of, everything's just kind of atmospheric and light and ear candy and lots of little stuff built, but there was nothing there to hook me to get me to the drop. So I'm just being honest with you that if I had heard this drop, I would be like, I want this in my playlist so I can listen to it while I work out or whatever. But if I had hit play from the beginning, I would have lasted maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds and I would have been like, maybe I would have skipped forward and maybe I would have heard the drop and put it in my playlist. But for the most part, the intro just would not have hooked me enough to get to the drop. So, yeah, the vocal might do it too, but like, I don't know, dude. I would probably hit it quick. I'd probably get to the drop quicker, just purely from a time standpoint, like maybe like a minute or like even 45 seconds. But I'd also hint at the dopeness that's going to happen in the drop without giving it all away or without it feeling weird in the, in the intro and the buildup. But you gotta like give us a little taste of what's gonna happen. Like get us involved and get us invested. And again, I'm not saying that the intro is bad. It's a good place to start, but it just isn't. It's not doing the drop justice. And I don't think that I would have naturally made it to the drop in this track. I probably would have just skipped to the next track if I was listening. And that might be a reflection on me as a person. I don't know. Let's keep going. So I'm assuming you're gonna have like another drop, like that drop is so good, dude. I would be upset if I didn't make it to the drop and I missed out on it, right? I don't know. The elements to build out of a there's definitely the elements to build out of the cool stuff. He's working on his drop. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I would just like I wouldn't even change anything about the drop. I thought the drop was dope. It's just I think I'm beating off a dead horse. You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't have made it to the drop, and that's a problem. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending. Let's check out for the memory I don't want to lost. Okay, well, there's a bit of an English problem there, but let's go. Okay, so couple things. The chord progression that's happening is a little atypical. There's a couple transitionary notes between chords that I don't think is adding value. It's adding a little too much dissonance. And then I'm gonna go back to the thing that I say all the time, which is like there's too many notes too low in the register. Like this one right here. That there's too many notes too close together, too low on the piano, and it's causing rumbly dissonance in the bottom. So I think voicing, you could probably keep the notes that you have in that chord, but if some of the more complex intervals, like the thirds and the stuff like that, were pushed up an octave as opposed to down low, because usually, again, I say this a lot, but down in the low end of the piano range, or any instrument, in the lower register, in the lower octaves, you can kind of only get away with octaves and sometimes fifths because of the math between a note and its fifth. It's like a pure, it's not very complex. And the more colorful chords that get dissonant and stuff like that, those are usually reserved for mid-range of the piano and up, because when you put two notes too close together, too low on the keyboard, the beat frequency between them becomes almost inaudible. It's almost like instead of a note, because that's something that people, I don't know, it always blew my mind when I thought about it, that when you play two notes, what you're hearing is you're hearing each individual note, but you're also hearing the beat frequency, so the difference between the notes. Now, when you play two notes high up on the keyboard, that beat frequency, when you subtract, say you had 1200 hertz and 1000 hertz. Well, now the beat frequency is going to be 200 hertz, which is an audible note. But if you had 100 hertz and 120 hertz, now the beat frequency is going to be 20 hertz, which is going to be, it's going to be inaudible or very, very low. So that's why you can get away with playing notes closer together higher up, because even if you played two notes that were right next to each other high up, there might be 500 hertz between those two notes, and 500 hertz is an audible note. So that's what a chord is. We're hearing each individual note plus all of the beat frequencies or the differences between those notes. Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but to me, it always blew my mind that like when I'm hearing two notes, I'm actually hearing three, because the third is the beat frequency made up from the two. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Like even this chord here, it's like it's too rumbly. Like you could take that, I'm pretty sure it's a minor third, and put it up an octave, and just try it. Just go through your chords, and if there are notes that aren't an octave or a fifth, put them up an octave and see what they sound like. It's almost certainly going to sound better when you have too many notes layered too close together down low. Sorry. Hello. Maybe the bigger problem here is that I'm not really detecting a motif. I'm hearing you play chords and I'm hearing you play riffs and melodies and stuff, but there's not one main theme melodically that everything else is kind of what's like working towards embellishing. I don't know the word I'm trying to think of, but it just kind of sounds like you're noodling on the piano. I do like this. I like this section, I think, the best. Do you know what I mean, though? It kind of sounds like, I think the notes are all in the scale, like there's no like wrong notes per se, but it just kind of sounds like you're playing around on the piano or on the keyboard and there's no focus. There's no like, it's not something you wrote. It just kind of sounds like you're just like jamming. And it's okay to jam to come up with ideas, but usually the way that I do it anyways, I will jam. I will do this sort of thing until something sticks out to me. And then I'm like, oh, that's cool. When I did that, that sounded dope. Like maybe that's the main idea. And now I can structure the song around that. And it's not that there's no wrong notes, only a wrong way to get to them. Okay, fucking Mr. Jazz or Mrs. Jazz. Yeah, I think you got to try to nail down a motif. And then once you do, you don't have to only play that, but that can be the main idea. And then maybe there's a call and response to it. The way it resolves every other time is different and stuff like that. So that I do two things. I would try to reduce the density of the notes in the lower register of your piano part. And then I would try to go through and pick out a section that you really like of the melody and try to be like, this is now, I'm going to try to write the song around this motif. And everything that I do is to serve that idea, if that makes sense. Yeah, I like jazz. But see, the thing about jazz is, I like how I'm saying this as I'm wearing this suit, as if I have any sort of authority to speak on jazz, which I don't. Anyway, the thing with jazz is, even though they go off on crazy tangents, it's those moments where the whole band comes back together and goes, dun, dun, dun. Like that's like the main thing. And then you can spur off and do like crazy individual solos and riffing and experimentation. But there's always, I shouldn't say always, there's almost always a main theme in a jazz song that everybody comes back to. And then they're all like, hell yeah, like there's that thing. And everybody, the crowd goes wild. Yeah. Anyway, that's my understanding of it. I'm not a jazz musician. I'm not even really a great musician. I have the technical abilities of a producer, and my musical skills are sufficient for most things. Okay, cool. That's what I think. Let's check this one out. This one's called Need Somebody 7. All right.
Somebody, I really need somebody, I really need somebody.
I really like this melody, but did it just kind of come out of nowhere? Oh, I guess it's kind of there. Okay, so listening back to it, I can hear that dun 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 dun. I can hear it there. But when it came in here, I thought it was brand new. I didn't correlate those two things to each other. So maybe that's a sign that maybe the melody needs to be a little bit more represented with harmonics or something on the sub bass, so that we can hear it a bit more clearly. Or maybe not. I don't know. To me, it just caught me off guard because I was like, is this an entirely new melody? And then when I go back and listen, I'm like, oh no, it was there before. I just didn't realize it. So whatever that means.
Body, show me what you got. Touch it, touch my spot. Make it hot, don't stop, don't stop. On my body, show me what you got. Touch it, touch my spot. Make it hot, don't stop, don't stop. On my body, on my body, on my body, on my body. I need somebody, I need somebody, I need somebody, I need somebody.
I mean, like, you definitely have enough weirdness in the track. I dig how weird and strange and complicated it is. I'm just wondering if maybe that melody could anchor us in some form of normalcy, and then you could get away with getting super fucking wacky and weird. But we still, if that melody was always kind of clear when it was playing, then maybe that would, it would give us something to anchor ourselves with. Yeah, like, I like this groove, but it's kind of drastically different than... Like, oh, man. Sorry, Aiden, I got places to be. That was supposed to seem cool, but no, sorry, I'm all filled for today. That sounds terrible. So, you've got two great melodies, but I don't, man... I'm hesitant to give feedback like this because it's kind of like upending the whole fucking thing. It's like a pretty drastic change. I like both melodies, but I'm a little conflicted because they both feel like they are the main melody, but they're kind of totally different. Thanks, Aiden. I'm supposed to be a man in black. That's my costume for this Halloween. I'm being a man in black.
On my body, 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 on my body. I really need somebody. I really need somebody.
My mic? Oh, okay. Maybe my mic was too far away. Thank you for letting me know. Or I could turn it up too. I got a new interface recently, and anyway, is this okay? I'll keep my mic closer. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call because I feel like you have two solid ideas. FL is at max, so it compresses a little probably. What do you mean on the stream? So it's not maxed out on the stream. I have the desktop audio down. To define main drop is a good idea. I'm a little conflicted. It looks like I have an OnlyFans light because of the reflection on my glasses. I'm a little conflicted because I like all the sections, but to me, I'm just like, is this 2 songs? Like, are there 2 viable songs in here? Dun 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 dun. That's like a song idea, and then an OnlyFans light. I just call any like circular light an OnlyFans light because I just picture like the OnlyFans chick with the webcam in the middle of it. I don't know. I've never actually used OnlyFans, so I did try to make. I was going to make an OnlyFans account for me to put my my messed up face pictures that I make on, but I didn't. Diff drops is fire. I look at it. How I look at it. Yeah, I mean, hey, dude, it's your track. So if this makes sense to you, then that's the way it should be. I'm just letting you know that that's just my raw thought process in my head. And that's what you pay me to give you, so that's what I'm giving you. I think the track is filled with incredible, crazy sound design and grooves and whatnot. To me, it feels a little less cohesive than if it maybe followed one of the melodic ideas. Virtue signaling on the OnlyFans fact, but accept the way you are. I don't really know what that means. So anyway, in terms of like mixing and stuff, I think it sounds great. And then it just comes down to the music side of things. And then it's your call. To me, maybe those 2 very separate ideas that are in the same key could work together. I think if I give a central one, that works. I mean, just for shits, why don't you just like save it as a new project and pick one and base the song around that one and save that other idea for a different song and just see if the song feels like it's missing something or if the song feels more focused because it's based on one idea instead of 2 ideas. And then bonus, you get a whole other thing to start another song with. Like, I don't know. It's worth it. It's at least worth like a try, especially if you do the save as thing and you can always delete that and go back. I had that in the arrangement before it felt boring. Okay, well, there you go. I guess you got your answer. I don't really have any feedback, like technical feedback. I think you're doing a great job at that. The arrangement still worked quite well. That was just my only thought was, should this be 1 song or should this be 2 songs? That was the only real thought that went through my head when I listened to it, besides like, oh, this sounds sick. So there you go. I guess we figured it out. All right. Next up, we got Marco Polo Sample This. Cosmic Adventure 120. Okay. I'm going to make the tempo the right tempo just because I can. There we go. Okay, hold on a sec. I liked the intro. I liked the drop. I didn't like that little thing in the middle. I don't think I liked that much. It was just a little too like, I don't know. Let me listen again. I think there's a couple things that I'm not digging about it. I think the first is that we get this big build, silent, and then we start with kind of another build, and it kind of feels like we took a step back in terms of the energy. It kind of feels like it's supposed to be a bit of a fake out, but I think the only thing it's really accomplishing is that maybe it's like it's killing the momentum that you were building here. So maybe there's a different way of maintaining some of this. What if we cut this? What if we got rid of that? I put it there to show I resampled the piano because there was part of a sample challenge. Oh, okay. So that's like a reason that's outside of like a creative reason. Even that feels like a step back. I'm just trying to figure out how to... I like, honestly, if we ignore all of the extraneous details about like the remix competition or whatever. Well, obviously I fucked that up, but I think it's better to get right into this because it kind of does a fake out in the drop here too.
Turn up the volume.
I kind of feel like your drums are not quite loud enough. I feel like all these crazy, wacky sample sounds and all the piano and kind of housey stabs and stuff, they're like considerably louder than the drums are. Maybe the kick is okay. Maybe it's mostly the clap. Yeah, the clap kind of feels like it's underneath everything. I feel like the clap isn't really represented in the mix very well.
I have to believe in a world outside my own mind. I have to believe that my actions still have meaning, even if I can't remember them. I have to believe that when my eyes are closed, the world's still there. Do I believe the world's still there? Is it still out there? Yeah. Do I lie to myself to be happy? In your case, yes, I will. I'm no different. Now, where was I?
Dude, that sound right there. It sounds like Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo. There's a mini game that you play, and when it's spinning around in a circle, it makes that kind of sound. Sounds like a little butt spank. I like this track is wild and insane. So for like an art piece, it's cool. It's a bit all over the place, which I think is okay for this because it is such a wacky song. So like I'm a little torn because I feel like at any point in this song, I have no idea where I'm at. But at the same time, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's the type of song it is. Maybe this song is a journey through weird and wacky ideas. And maybe that's okay. It's certainly filled with creativity. I will definitely give you that. A lot of the grooves are sick. I really liked when it went into this kind of deep house thing. It kind of doesn't make any sense on paper, a lot of this stuff, but I don't know. Maybe that's fine. Maybe it's a fucking weird track and that's what it is. And it's a good weird track. But I do kind of feel like my note at the start here, I wasn't a huge fan of this section right here. It just kind of, I was getting ready. I was like, I would maybe just like cut that section out and make this have a bit more of a build to it with maybe some drums and stuff, and then just get right into I don't know. I just don't think that this little section really accomplishes anything besides what you said, where you're like, oh, I did that to show people that I resampled the piano. That's not really a good reason to do something creative. I don't think that seems more like an administrative task, So I don't know. I don't think it serves the track in a positive way. I think it's just kind of like, hey guys, here's the thing that I did that I said I would do or something. So maybe consider losing that little section. The rest of the track, it's weird as fuck, but I don't dislike it. I think it's sick. Okay, that's what I got. Let's check out the high quality version of Rahem's Wrong Reasons Remix version 6 or V6. I don't know. This melody kind of sounds like a John Bellion melody. There's a weird fluttery thing. Yes, I drink a lot of water, but I do appreciate the reminder. There's a weird fluttery thing, which I believe is intentional on the bass, but it kind of reminds me of like the sound of like the buffer underrun sound. Are you sure? I didn't think I drug that in. Let's see. Wrong Reasons. This is the Wave V6. No, this is the high quality one. I think the vocal could come up in the mix, and whatever that fluttery sound, it's kind of going back and forth stereo wise. I'm not sure that it's really doing anything besides just, yeah, this one isn't called ultra high quality. So here's the one you think I'm listening to. Sounds like it's being played on a radio in a doctor's office. Good joke, but we'll just listen to the actual high quality one. So in this section, I feel like there's too many elements at the same time. There's like this kind of piano thing that's busy and complicated. I'd maybe take that out and make it more about the vocal and the build. Because it kind of sounds like somebody just riffing on the piano while she's trying to do her thing. I kind of feel similar about this thing. I think that piano, it draws the ear to it. So when you're trying to do another thing that's trying to draw the ear to that instead, it becomes a conflicting thing. Because you have dun 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 dun. You have like this like cool like plucky melody thing happening, but then the arpeggiated piano, I don't think it's adding to the track. I think I like the part, but I think you have to use it in places where there's nothing else that's trying to demand my attention, because it just kind of busies up and complicates things needlessly. You have that the drop sounds great, the drums, the bass, everything feels good. I don't think you need that extra layer on top of or underneath of all the other things that you have going on. I think that plucky thing with the drum and bass part would be good. The aim wasn't for it to be the main element. No, I know that, but it still draws attention to itself. I don't know. You could turn it down, but I really think that if you just took it out of this section, the mix would just be like, oh, now I can like get into it more. I don't know. I don't think it's a turning down thing. I think it's when do I use this thing?
Took everything that I was, broke me down into little pieces. Never running from the things I love. Wanted you from all the places.
Yes, Cat 123000. I see that. Oh my God, what is this? Evanescence?
Wanted you from all the places. Took it from me inside. It's just a way that I wanted you for all the I wanted you.
I think the drums are a little pushed back in the mix here. Like the drums sound powerful, but they sound too quiet. Maybe not the transient on the kick. That can probably stay the current volume. I think it's a great start, dude. I really like this track. I think it's just that piano thing. It's referenced against metalcore drums. I don't care if you referenced it to the Mona Lisa. I'm just telling you what I think. Yeah, I don't know. Just experiment with that piano thing and maybe extrapolate from that even like some other elements. Does this element need to be here right now? Is it adding to the track, or is it just embellishing layers and adding stuff? You know, I think usually you're best using the least amount of good elements as possible. Yeah, maybe. I thought the vocals were maybe a little buried too, but yeah, especially like here. Yeah, I think they could be more compressed, more loud, and maybe a slightly more reverb, especially in like these sections where it's like atmospheric, like a build element. But overall, good job. Okay, last couple of the day, we got Need Somebody. Wait a minute, didn't we already listen to this? Did I fuck up? Okay, I guess the last one of the day. Scaffolding sketch, great. Dude, this is like top 10 beats to do hard drugs and put up scaffolding to. Shit, I stretched it by accident. Someone, the sound design was balloon rubbing. Really? Oh, that was an actual ad you got. That's wicked. Yeah, so like this is a sick drop. Now what? That's my feedback. This is a sick drop. Now what? How are you going to make it a song? And they say I don't add value, you know? Okay, cool. I really like the drop. Maybe the snare could be a bit punchy. Maybe the snare could have a bit more of a snap to the start of it, more transient, maybe. But the drop is sick, and now you gotta give it context. You know, like this is a sick drop, but without context, it's just a sick drop. Now, if you could create some sort of idea, even if the idea isn't being expressed with words, but in your head, this song is about going to work at a construction site and hating your life, or I don't know what you do for a living. But like, to me, the fact that it's called scaffolding, and maybe it's just because scaffolding seems clunky and mechanical and the drop seems clunky and mechanical. But I find if you come up with like an idea or a theme of the song, it helps guide you in creating a song versus just a drop. Because like I said, this is a sick drop, but without the context, it only goes so far. If you can surround this drop with excellent context, then you will have an excellent song. Right now you have an excellent drop. I actually manage an orchestra. Okay, well that doesn't give me I manage orchestra vibes, but that's not a problem. That's just interesting. Anyway, I really like it. It's sick. And this is just me with my sunglasses on. I have to pee so bad, but I did so good because I didn't go pee once this stream, which is very strange for me. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoy your Halloween no matter what you do. I usually don't really partake in too many Halloween things because I don't like figuring out costumes. It takes time and effort, and that is something that I don't have a lot of these days. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. I love you all. I hope you have a good weekend. Have fun. Good job, everybody. We all did stuff this week, and that's awesome. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. I think that's all I have to say. Bye. Bye.